I don't want to slam them here, so I'm not quite sure how to answer this. Hopefully I'll have a chance to elaborate. It is Sunday, October 9th, 2022, and on this week's edition of Sunday Sofa Time, we're talking about me letting Royal Caribbean know what I really think. Here we are again in front of the red sofa. I just got back about a week ago from my first cruise with Royal Caribbean since before the pandemic. There's no real major reason why we hadn't cruised with Royal Caribbean. Just there were so many other cruise lines out there that we wanted to try. My love of cruising began with Royal Caribbean. Our first cruise was on the Monarch of the Seas, and yeah, we've cruised with the Monarch,
Independence, the Navigator, the Mariner, the Honey,
and now with the Wonder of the Seas, which is the current largest cruise ship in the world. And I feel kind of weird uploading this video subject right now because the daily vlogs at the moment are still from our most recent cruise with Virgin Voyages. So it's like Virgin Voyages, Royal Caribbean, Virgin Voyages, something else. But because this is kind of time specific, I just decided I'm gonna throw it up here anyways, and that is when you cruise with Royal Caribbean or just about every cruise line nowadays, you will be invited to take place in a customer satisfaction survey when you get home. These surveys are super important for the cruise line or any other business that sends them to you. I know this also from my experience working in tourist attractions and theme parks, that if there is a survey sent to you, or if there is a survey like on an iPad at the exit that you can take part in, the answers that you give there, they are looked at, they are read, and they are important for letting the people know. I know that it is a very easy and free way to really brighten up the day of any crew member on board who maybe made your vacation special. And we're gonna sit down today and go through this whole survey together, and by learning about my answers, you're also gonna learn about what I thought about this cruise, about all the aspects of it. So let's just dive into it, and from now on until we finish the survey, you're just gonna see the survey and hear my voice. All right, here we are on my computer. This is the email that you'll get, or that I got. Actually, I've gotten this email a few times since we've been back. I just haven't gotten around to do it, so let's go. Let me read this. Welcome to the Royal Caribbean Feedback Survey. Your opinion is extremely important to us, and we'd love to hear feedback on your 7-night Western Mediterranean cruise. Sailed survey should take, if you need to pause before finishing. All right, let's get going. I think I said that already, but now we're gonna really get going. Please rate your overall vacation experience. I am going to give it a 9. If asked your opinion, how likely would you be to recommend Royal Caribbean to a friend, family member, or colleague? Well, I'm doing that in this video. Let's give it a 10. To move this up here. If you were planning another cruise, how likely would you be to choose Royal Caribbean? Very likely. The next button is down here below the screen, so I'm just pressing next. Please share the primary reason for this rating of 10 on likelihood to recommend Royal Caribbean to your friends, family members, or colleagues. Well, this is a complicated answer, of course, but I know that this feedback is really helpful, and they really do read these surveys. So let me think of some good reasons here. Please rate your Royal Caribbean vacation on each of the following. And I know from my experience in the tourist attraction amusement park industry that these surveys, the goal is to just have a 10 everywhere. And anything that's like less than an 8 is a reason for discussion. And that makes it kind of hard to do these things because, you know, like, when is anything ever really actually perfect? And you know from watching my videos, there's always something that can be a little bit improved. It kind of all depends also on the mood that you're in at the time. You know, the weather can make a difference too. But let's go through these things. The guest safety briefing, I'm just going to give it a 10. Itinerary, You know, that's something for me that, especially with this ship, the Wonder of the Seas, I really wasn't looking at the itinerary. But we'll give it a 10. Staff's ability to resolve issues, 10. Departure, leaving the ship. I'm trying to think if I have, yeah, I'll give that a 10. And I just want you to know now, I'm not going to be giving everything a 10. There will be some things here to discuss. Pier check-in went really easily. That has to do also with the fact, I think, that we were in a junior suite, so we got to go into a shorter line. 10. Crown and Anchor Society. Okay, here's something to discuss. When we started cruising with Royal Caribbean, the benefits that you got for being in the Crown and Anchor Society, they were much more than what they are now. And I really feel like that's something where they've made a lot of cutbacks, and that's, of course, that doesn't make or break a cruise, but just compared to what it used to be, there's a lot less now, so let's give it an 8. Thinking about your overall dining and bar experience, please rate each of the following. The quality of the food in the main dining room. Well, we didn't have a fantastic experience in the main dining room, and you'll hear me talking about it in the videos from that day. We only went to the main dining room once, so when the Virgin Voyages videos are finished and the Wonder of the Seas videos begin, you will hear more about our experience there, but it was only okay, so I'm going to give that an 8. Main dining room service. We did not have great service in the main dining room, and it's tricky to answer this because our servers were doing the best they could, but they had too much to do. They were spread between too many tables, and that led to unfortunately not very good service. I don't want to slam them here, so I'm not quite sure how to answer this. Hopefully I'll have a chance to elaborate. So I'm going to give them a 7. Quality of food in the Windjammer, 10. Service, Windjammer, 10. Quality of food from room service, not applicable. I decided not to do a room service video on this cruise, but that doesn't mean I won't do them in the future. If these are videos that you always really look forward to, the ordering room service and then sitting down and eating the room service and answering your questions, if those are videos that you really like to see, please let me know in the comments. Service provided by room service, not applicable. Bar service, great, 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 great. Wait, are we talking about, okay. Sorrento's, the service was great in Sorrento's. I kind of only thought the pizza was okay. Solarium Bistro, 10. El Loco Fresh, great. Sugar Beach, not applicable. Coastal Kitchen, fantastic. Park Cafe, also great. Thinking about your satisfaction with each meal, please rate the following. Okay. We did not have breakfast in the main dining room. We did not have lunch in the main dining room. Dinner in the main dining room. Yeah, I'm going to give this a 7, and I really hope I get the chance to elaborate. Breakfast in the Windjammer. The thing about breakfast in the Windjammer is the food and everything is good. It's just every morning when you're on a ship that big, it was absolute chaos. So I'm going to give that a 9. Lunch in the Windjammer, fine, fine. Did not have. Did we dine at any of the specialty restaurants? Sorry, I know you can't see. It just says yes or no here, and I'm choosing no and next. Thinking about your experience with service, please rate the following. Cruise line airport transfer experience, did not do. We did our own transfer from the, yeah, you'll see that in the upcoming videos, but Marcus and I traveled separately. I think you all know the reasons why by now. And we also found we both used different ways to get from the airport into the city and then to the ship, and we did not use the Royal Caribbean transfer. Ship security staff, always very friendly. Guest services staff, I have to say, not applicable because I never had to go to them because everything worked out good. Please indicate how much you agree or disagree with each of the following statements. I feel like the crew on board this cruise was passionate. That's weird. Passionate. Thinking about your stateroom, please rate each of the following. Stateroom attendant service. Our stateroom attendant was Abel, A-B-E-L. He was a really great guy. He did a fantastic job. We had a couple of small special requests that he more or less fulfilled, and he was very friendly, but not overbearing. You know, sometimes I feel like sometimes the stateroom attendants try overly hard to sort of become your best friends on the cruise, and like you cannot leave or come back to your cabin without having an at least 5-minute discussion with them about where you just were and what you just did. And he kind of had a good feeling for how many questions to ask, how long to sort of chit chat, and when to kind of let us have our own time. So giving him a 10. Stateroom was very clean. Yeah, nothing to complain about there, nothing to deduct points for. The ship's appearance. Please rate each of the following. Yeah, this ship, of course it's very new, but it's just amazing, people. These Oasis class ships are so spectacular. Think about your experience with entertainment. All right, here we go. Please rate your Royal Caribbean vacation on each of the following. Cruise director and entertainment team. Sports activities. I don't think we really did any of those. Flow rider, ice skating, zip line, rock climbing wall, laser tag, mini golf, dance classes, movies, poolside events, contests. I'm going to give that a 10. Evening events and theme parties, 10. Production shows, I wish I could give this a 20 because the shows were so good. 10. Headliner shows. We did see one headliner show. It was a magician who actually had been on Penn and Teller Fool Us. And now that I'm mentioning that, Marcus and I forgot that when we got home, we want to go back and see if we can find the episode that he's in. And he was pretty good. I'm going to give him a 9. Please rate your Royal Caribbean vacation on each of the following. The casino experience. Well, we didn't really win a lot in the casino, so what do? Do we give this a low score or a high score? The crew that we dealt with in the casino were fine, but we didn't win, so I'm going to give it an 8. Quality of merchandise and shops on board. Not really fair for me to give this a rating because we really didn't do any shopping, so I'm just going to do not applicable. We did a spa tour, and the spa tour, of course, was very nice, and it's one of the ways that they go about trying to get you to book some kind of spa treatment. The prices were so high. Like I always say, I just feel like it's not worth it to pay 2 or 3 times the amount of money to get a massage on a ship that you could pay on land. I mean, wouldn't you rather get 3 massages on land during your normal, like, boring week than 1 super expensive massage while you're already on a cruise ship? But I'm going to give it a 10 anyways. We did not use the internet on board. We forgot to look at our photos. We did get a couple photos taken and we never looked at them. Oh well. Next cruise, future cruise experience, nope. Arcade experience, nope. This is one thing to mention. There is a pretty big arcade on board the ship. I mean, everything on board the ship is big. And one thing that we noticed and talked about was there's an arcade also on the Virgin Voyages ships, and all the games are just on, and you can play any of them, and it doesn't cost extra, which is a great thing about Virgin Voyages. And that's also one thing I will be talking about more in regards to this cruise with Royal Caribbean. There are a lot of extra costs that add up, you'll see. So arcade experience, didn't really play anything. Royal Caribbean mobile app experience, I'm going to give it a 9. There were a couple things that were a little bit frustrating about it, but overall, pretty good. Were you asked by any crew members to provide positive ratings reviews? Oh yes, we were. No, I am not going to identify this person or these people, because I think this is actually a negative point and I don't want them to get in trouble. So I'm just going to press other here. Based on various health protocols you experienced during your cruise vacation, please rate your satisfaction with how we cared for your health on board. Fine, I guess. I mean, masks are not required. Many of the crew members were wearing masks. In fact, I want to say most of the crew members were wearing masks. It's something I guess I really didn't pay much attention to. I try not to focus so much on that, so very satisfied. Primary reason for this rating of 10 for your satisfaction with how we cared for your health on board. All right, I'm gonna write How satisfied with the communication from Royal Caribbean about the health protocols for your cruise? I'm gonna give this a 10. Shore excursion experience on each of the following. We did not do any Royal Caribbean shore excursions. We just did our own kind of excursions, and actually we pretty much just stayed on the ship. And when you're cruising on one of these Oasis class ships, there's so much to do. You almost feel guilty going on land because it's like there's so much to do on the ship. So not applicable. Not applicable. When do you estimate your next cruise vacation would take place? Definitely in less than a year. Were you celebrating a special occasion on this cruise? What are the opportunities here, the options? No, birthday, anniversary, engagement, honeymoon, milestone, another celebration not mentioned above. We'll just go with no. I don't want to, should I write celebrating the death of our cat? Chili's memorial cruise. Moving on, what did you travel with on your recent Royal Caribbean vacation? Select all that apply. Spouse and partner. Including this most recent cruise, how many cruises have you ever taken? More than 5. How many of your cruises were the Royal Caribbean? If you don't know the exact number, please give your best guesses. Also more than 5. Which of the following cruise lines have you cruised with within the past 5 years? And other, which I know you can't see it, but I'm writing Mein Schiff and AIDA. Final comments or recognize any of our outstanding crew members during your Wonder of the Seas cruise. So this is the part of the survey that is the most important. If you want to do something good who is a crew member on the ship, because these comments are taken, and depending on what name is written and what is written about them, they get a lot of benefits on board as far as extra time off, extra days off. Just they get a lot of goodies through this. So it's important, and it's a super easy way to just kind of help some people out. So here we go. All right, so this is what I wrote. Effie and Carlos in the Solarium Bar were fantastic at their jobs, gave us great service, and were a ton of fun to talk to every night. They felt like friends at the end of the cruise. Our stateroom attendant Abel also did a fantastic job, listened to our special requests, and was there when we needed him. Also, the attendants Mark and Jamara on our floor were very friendly and helped answer some questions about the other cabin categories. It was great to interact with them. I would like to elaborate on my MDR score. Our servers were doing the best job they could with the workload that they were under. It was obvious to us as passengers that they had too many tables to take care of, and with everyone arriving at the same time, it was understandably difficult for them to provide the fantastic service that they were striving for. This is absolutely not a critique on their abilities. It is a request to, I'm going to add Royal Caribbean to hire more staff for the MDR to make all their jobs easier. The workload is simply too high at the moment. What does it say here? If you enjoyed your Royal Caribbean vacation, help us tell others by checking this box and letting Royal Caribbean use your comments and hold their part throughout the survey in our marketing, communications, and advertisements, including but not limited to. Yeah, why not? Okay. I think we're getting close to the end here. All right, I just added special thanks to the amazing cast of Intense. My partner and I are both showbiz professionals and have seen many shows around the world. Your show is one of our absolute highlights. The production staff who created the show, the choreographers, the tech staff, etc. Everyone involved deserves a huge compliment. We hope we can see this show with this cast again soon. Overall rating of your experience on Wonder of the Seas, outstanding. I'm just going to keep it short here. All right. Yeah, so spoiler alert, I thought the cruise was great. It was a very expensive cruise. However, and that's going to be the subject of another video, that's one aspect of the whole thing, especially compared to Virgin Voyages. We did a lot of comparing this cruise to Virgin Voyages because that's the most recent cruise line that we have experience with. But compared to Virgin Voyages, there were just a lot of extra expenses. So even though the cruise itself was already pretty expensive, the money that we spent on board just for incidental things was also more. Just putting that out there, and I will elaborate more on that in an upcoming Sunday Sofatime, or maybe also in the daily vlogs from that cruise. And isn't it interesting that when I go back now and think of all those questions that I just answered, there were no questions about value for money. I guess they don't want to know. I wonder why they didn't include that. You know, I would think there would be at least one question about value for money, and unless I'm totally forgetting it, I don't remember there being one. Before we move on to commenting on your comments, let me just remind you to please subscribe to this channel if you haven't done it already. Helps me out. Press the thumbs up. Leave me any kind of travel-related comment down there below. All those things help me. And now will come the time on Sunday Sofatime where I comment on your comments live on air. By the way, stick around if you want to hear a little update about things happening here around the Very Unofficial Travel Guides headquarters in relation to our cat, Chili. I know not everybody's interested in that, so I'm going to leave it to the very end. But in last week's Sunday Sofatime, I compared Cunard with Virgin Voyages, two extremely different cruise lines, and these comments are from that video. The first one is from SL Crozier. They write, "Hey Morgan, I haven't been on the Norwegian Prima yet, booked for 2024, but videos show that the Indulge food hall buffet on the Prima is more like the Virgin buffet. Also, the pool area on the Prima is smaller than other Norwegian ships, which is hard to imagine because Norwegian, like the Escape and Epic, they also have pretty small pool areas." Where was I here? The theater on the Prima is now multi-purpose and convertible. Sounds like Norwegian might be picking up some of Virgin's innovations. Interesting to see. I have to admit that I haven't looked at any videos of the Prima yet. If you have a suggestion of another creator who has showcased the Prima, please write it in the comments below so I can check those videos out. We love cruising with Norwegian. It also has been a while since we've cruised with an NCL ship, but that will be coming in the future. Maybe it will be the Prima. We'll see. And I'm not sure about how I feel about other cruise lines picking up on some of what Virgin is doing. I kind of wish that the things that Virgin are doing just stay with Virgin, because other than the fact that so many things are included, which is a good thing, a lot of the things that they have innovated are things that I don't think need to spread to other cruise lines. Next comment is from Just Kaya TV. They write, "Hello Morgan, this has nothing to do with what you're talking about." That's what the comments are there for. You write what you want. Nothing to do with what you're talking about, but would you go on Carnival Mardi Gras and ride, or Carnival Mardi Gras and ride the roller coaster? I know you love roller coasters, and of course I would. I actually got to see the Carnival. Why am I having such a hard time saying the name of this ship? I have not been day drinking, I promise. I got the chance to see the Carnival Mardi Gras a few years ago when it was still being built. I saw it from a distance on one of my it was called Blaue Reisen, so like the Blue Horizon cruises I did when cruising was just starting up after COVID, where we left Hamburg and came back to Hamburg, and we got really close to land but never left the ship. And one of the places that we got close to was the shipyard in Turku, where the Horizon was being built. Or no, the Mardi Gras. The Mardi Gras, where the Mardi Gras was being built, and the Mardi Gras has this roller coaster-like attraction on the top of it that I would love to try. Maybe that's coming up in the near future too. Final comment is from Thomas Kuykendal, and I have to say I don't really understand this, so I'm gonna need some of your help. And Thomas, if you're out there, please let me know what you mean here by saying, "I'm really looking forward to the Cunard by Carnival sailings next year." I do know that recently, or a couple years ago, Cunard was bought by Carnival. A lot of people are blaming the Carnival Corporation as the reason why the Queen Mary 2 is in such bad shape right now. Oh geez, did I actually say that? I criticized Cunard again. I mentioned this on Facebook recently. The Queen Mary 2 and Cunard all together have a very aggressive fan community that defend the brand and defend the ship no matter what evidence is against defending it. They are there in the comments, and yeah, Anyways, I don't know what this comment means about Cunard by Carnival. I don't understand. If anybody knows what that means, please let me know in the comments below. And now I will give you a little update about life here and the cat and all that if you're interested. A couple weeks ago, had to put our dear cat Chili to sleep. She was very sick. It was still a really, really awful thing, and it was involved with a bunch of other stress with then uncanceling the Wonder of the Seas trip. I think you know about all that already. And I just wanted to follow up and say that, yeah, it's been hard. You know, when we come home, we still open the door, look down. Of course, there's no cat there. When I go to bed, I still put my arm out. There's no cat there. I'm wondering how long those things take to go away. I don't know. And it feels, I don't know, it still kind of feels wrong to me to actively stop doing them in a way. Because, I don't know, I just still miss her having here so much. I did decide to have her cremated. We don't have our own like garden or yard here, so we couldn't bury her around here. So I decided to have her cremated. We will be getting her ashes and also a paw print like in plaster. And I can tell you, just the getting her put to sleep and the cremation and all that, just those two things together is already costing almost 1,000 euros. So having a pet is a wonderful thing. I don't regret it at all. But if you do have a pet and you are, you know, having problems with budget, maybe you're living on a very small budget. This is something that Marcus and I were talking about. Try to put a little bit of money or a lot of money aside for a pet emergency or for something like this that happened with Chili, because it would be awful to be faced with those kind of decisions and to want to provide, you know, like a nice way to end your pet's life, basically, if they're suffering, and then also a nice way to sort of honor them with a cremation or something like that. We were just talking about how awful it would be to be faced with that decision and not have any money to make any of it happen. You know what I mean? And then not be able to provide those things. Anyways, I know this is turned really dark. I'm just trying to say, to sort of help you prepare if you do have a pet. Pets are not here forever, and I just wanted to let you know that if you have to get your pet put to sleep and then what happens to the pet after that, they're expensive. So just try to make sure that you've got those things sort of organized in advance. All right. That's that. That's the little update from here, and I hope you are enjoying these videos from the Virgin Voyages Valiant Lady. In the next one coming up, something quite humorous happened, and I did my best to explain it without being vulgar, but I don't know. In the end, you'll see what I mean. It's from our day on the beach, or my day on the beach, and just something that I saw there that I didn't realize was also a problem for women. Anyways, I'm Morgan from the Very Unofficial Travel Guides. See you soon.